We got Evan from the Northern Royals in, just taking a drink of whiskey here. Why don't you give us a little background story of the Northern Royals? I've kind of been there from the autopilot days,
Mhm.
but for anyone who hasn't, tell us a little about the Northern Royals.
Northern Royals started around 2012 with me, Cody, and Kendra. We were the drummer and bass player. My name is Evan, the singer. We changed our name from the Autopilots to Northern Royals in 2015, and that was due to some legal issues. And we've been Northern Royals since. And this is our second album coming out August 23rd called Hello Chaos, following our debut album as Northern Royals, self-titled.
Excellent. And we got two newer members from
That's
the
right.
last release. I guess one was on the last release, but you now have Dale with you.
Yeah, we got Dale from Exomerita on our team now, and Kyle Maskew from the Love Tongues. And yeah, we were just talking the other day. I think Kyle's been in the band since what did we say? 2016 or something like that. I don't know. I think it was 4 to 6 years he's been in the band. And Dale's been in the band like maybe coming on a year or two. I don't know. But Dale's the newest, and yeah, it's been great. We got Dale to do our vocals out in Arborg at Kendra's parents' place for this album. He ended up mixing this album too, because the guy we were going to use kept delaying the mixing and stuff. So we had it all planned out. It was going to come out. It was going to be great, and then he's just busy. So Dale's like, man, I can mix this, and it was like literally our only option. Not that he didn't do an amazing job, and I would have picked him anyways because he's wicked, but we just didn't really know what he was capable of yet. And so he just took on the whole album, mixed it, did a wicked job, edited it, and then recorded vocals, produced it essentially. And that was the first time we got to sort of self-produce our album in the studio, if you know what I mean. Like,
Wow.
we always hired some producer at a studio, with limited time, and that's how we did the music. We did the music all at Privateer, which was great, but you are on a timeline. Everything has to be done now, quick, perfectly, or as best you can. Otherwise, you're just paying more money, right?
Absolutely.
So
It's kind of with technology, it does seem like it's getting a little bit easier to be doing it at your home.
yeah, as we can see
Absolutely.
right now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. And the makeshift vocal booth behind us that everyone thinks is a shower.
could be.
So let's dive right into it. Hello Chaos, August 23rd. The release party on the 24th, though?
Yeah, so the album comes out 23rd digitally, and then 24th is the release party at the Park Theater, with the Radiant from Saskatoon and Omens, which is a couple guys from Jet Set Satellite started a new band. So
Excellent.
yeah.
So the releases so far, obviously, first one out, Hello Chaos. A little bit of a different sound than the last EP you had out.
Yeah.
Just kind of listening to the rest of the releases so far. I have not heard the latest that was released on Power 97 the other day.
Yeah.
But the second single from there, which was
Get Out of Here.
Get Out of Here.
Yeah.
Yes. And then the third one, Follow Me.
Correct.
Yes. So obviously, like I said, a little bit of a different sound. We go back in the catalog of Northern Royals, and we're talking. Let's go back to again. Let's even go with the Autopilots.
Yep.
Pretty straight rock sound. Then you have Against the Grain, which seemed to branch out a little bit more, and then you come up to the self-titled EP, and just a big sound, big guitars. Now we get to Hello Chaos, and it seems like it's another sound that has come out. It almost seems like it was recorded a little bit differently as well.
Mm-hmm.
What can you say about like evolving as a band?
I think we never really had much direction at the beginning. We knew we liked rock and roll, and there was a bunch of different influences from whoever was bringing a riff, right? And I think when a riff came and it was sweet, and we're like, cool, that sounds like a good song, and then we make a song, and we did our best version of that type of song. Like Against the Grain was this kind of like, it almost had some country acoustic rock vibes to it, and we just made the best version of that we could make. We weren't really like, well, this isn't us, this isn't our brand or genre. And I think we've always done that. We've always just made what we thought was the best song with what we had. And I think now, like, we just know what Northern Royals sounds like, and that's kind of a mix of genres, right? I mean, we're obviously rock and roll. We used to have more classic rock blues vibes, and I think we have more probably modern rock, hard rock vibes now. But Rosita was the one that came out on Power on Wednesday, and that's probably our poppiest song on the record.
Okay.
It almost has some Glorious Sons vibes. Like, it's just that really catchy, like, Glorious Sons Mama or Glorious Sons SOS. And everyone loves that tune. So we're like, okay, people love these sing-alongs. They love these big, catchy tunes, obviously, right? So, I mean, band's been doing that forever. They make an album and they throw a couple singles on it to draw people in, right? But the rest is what you love. And but I think this one, all 6 songs were like, Gasoline to me is like it's the classic rock blues live song. It's our favorite song to play. Rosita is the best sing along. It's the anthem, and Hello Chaos is the heavy, upbeat, holy shit, come out the gate swinging, and yeah, everything just has its own place.
Yeah, Hello Chaos is a great first single to release off that. Yeah, gets the attention right away for sure. And then obviously, speaking of just a different sound, bigger guitars, let's just focus right on Evan himself vocally. You've come so far with it. You sound phenomenal on it. What are you doing for vocal training, if any?
Thank you. I sing in the shower a lot. No, I took vocal lessons. I originally took vocal lessons through a buddy who was a vocal teacher at the U of M. So I actually went there. I was going there weekly kind of thing for vocal lessons, and then I did that for about 6 months, and then took a big break to kind of absorb what I learned, and then I went and took more vocal lessons from. Do you know Small Town Titans? Phil, the singer. I took some lessons from him. I actually got a grant from that through the SoCound Foundation. Highly suggest anyone to check that out if you want to grow your musical career in any way. They give you grants for it. It's crazy. Did that, and then just YouTube reels. Honestly, I've been getting a ton of vocal reels and just content makers, creators, and I'm like, whoa, that's how you do that. And so, yeah, just continuously singing, as much as I can, learning. Yeah, and some people think like you don't need vocal lessons. It should be raw and real and whatever. It's like you could still be raw and real and just know how to do it to protect your voice, right? Like screaming, you need to know how to scream properly. Otherwise, you have 2 years and you're done. Like, in my opinion. Anyways,
absolutely. So, Small Town Titans, how did you ever get lined up with them? I personally know them from the riffage of Barcodes.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Pretty cool.
Is that what you first heard of them?
Yeah, that's where I first heard of them. Yeah.
That's sweet. Actually, that's good to hear. No, I think it was I first heard about him when they did the Grinch.
Okay.
They did a rock cover of the Grinch, and he's got an insane voice. Like the range was out of control. Like, and then it was my buddy Kevin Evans actually kind of put me in touch with him because he kind of got to know those dudes, and he put me in touch, and he's just running vocal lessons. So like you can just go to his website. I don't know if he's doing it right now anymore, but you can you pay for them, right?
Wow.
Yeah, he was super awesome. We did it remotely, which I didn't think would work very well, but he's got a good system. And if you have a good system, just like this, if you have this at home, it's really easy to do vocal lessons remotely.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's very good. If you don't know who Small Town Titans are, look them up. I found them on a whim on a TikTok or something with them doing guitar riffs over Barcodes like Craft Dinner and stuff. And
will it riff?
It's so cool though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've seen a couple performance wise of them as well, and yeah, it's huge. So obviously right now I'm staring at these tickets on my desk right now. So let's get to the show here. we got Northern Royals release party with Omens, who two members of Jet Set Satellite. If you've been following the Boneyard, you would have seen Trevor on my debut with the Boneyard. Great band. I told him he's right now they're in the running for album of the year for me right now. That whole album is just insane.
Yeah.
Why, or I shouldn't say why, but what was the reasoning getting Omens on the show with you?
Well, they kick ass. I mean, we were big fans of Jet Set Satellite. You know, many people were in the rock scene and whatever, but saw them play at Toba Rock Fest there, and they were just killer. They were so good. Like, they've been around for so long. They're professional band, right? So when I found out they started their own band, and I think he even reached out. I think they were just looking for shows and trying to get their new band up and running. And we talked, and I was like, "We got our EP release show." I didn't even hear their music yet. And I was like, "I'm assuming it's rock and roll." He's like, "Of course." I was like, "Then come on the show and be a part of the EP release." And at that time, we already had the Radiant, and I haven't talked about the Radiant much in this whole promo cycle, but they had us on their EP release show in Saskatoon. I don't know if it was last year or a few years ago now, but it was at Amigos in Saskatoon. And if there's any bands listening, they obviously know that having an out-of-town band on your show isn't really beneficial locally if they're not well known locally, so they had us on at Amigos when no one knew our name there, and the place was packed for the first band. So really, really cool for us to be able to play to a packed room. They paid us very well, and Amigos was great. They fed us, they gave us some drinks, they just treated us like rock stars. So anyways, we're like, "Hey, we're gonna have them on our EP release show, return that favor." And people do know them here as well, like probably more than people knew us out there. So we're just pumped to have them, a kick-ass band on opening up and just developing community. And and then Omens was a great addition to that too. So
absolutely, yeah, that's three killer bands going up there. Obviously, Park Theater. You've been to the Park Theater. Your last release was at the Park Theater. Great venue. I guess it's all redone in there, renovated. Just a beautiful place.
Constantly renovating that place. I find.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just down the street from where we are right now. So so with the Park Theater, obviously, there's some great venues in the city supporting a lot of local music. You got the Park Theater, you got the Riverside, you got the Tap House. Great venues coming up here. Is there a favorite venue of yours in the city?
We always shout out, obviously, Park, the Handsome Daughter is a really fun place. And then the Side Stage coming up, which is next to the Park Theater. It's like connected, basically. It's going to be a 200 cap room. We're hoping to get a show there soon. But there's tons of great venues in the city. Like Pyramid's a great room. Bulldog Event Center's doing tons of great things with local bands, and they continued to push through COVID and everything that's been thrown at them. So yeah, it's bands, music, venues are all basically fighting to have a place to play, and it's people buying tickets that keeps that happening. So it's everything.
For sure. You bring up COVID. It actually came up on the last episode. How did the Northern Royals get through COVID, get through the shutdown? Everything was shut down. People started writing stuff. People were recording in their house, but the live show just seemed to fall apart. And some of the venues fell apart with the leftovers of what happened after COVID. What did you guys do during that period?
We persevered through that. We just kept going. I think that was the key. Like, so many bands were doing what they thought was smart and responsible, and they're probably right to just take a break, right? Like, but we just found ways around it. Manitoba Film and Music was offering grants for live streams. So we did that Bankside Music Festival, and they live streamed it. So there wasn't an audience there, right? There was just bands. They all the bands kept separate, you know, and
Mhm.
we got money to live stream, so we got paid for a show, and you know, then we did our EP release, we live streamed as well. So again, we got a grant for the live stream, got people in there, they're all at tables,
Mhm.
obviously strange and weird, and you know, our two opening bands had to back out because they got COVID in their bands, so it was just us that night. um but yeah, we did there wasn't a lot of active bands, and there's a lot of bands that just ended because they were already about to end, and that was just the, you know,
Mhm.
the tip of it. But um yeah, it was good to us. We did a lot of festivals, we did a lot of shows, we grew, but we just released music in 2020, so if there was no COVID, we probably would have done better. You know what I mean? But yeah, it was as good as it could have been, I thought.
For sure. Um, so another uh, big news item that came up for you guys, I believe it's called Thunder in the Bridge.
Yeah,
Crazy.
yeah,
Great opportunity for you guys to open for some great Canadian bands, Headstones, Our Lady Peace, on Mother Earth.
correct. Yeah,
It's great. So that went through a voting process.
yeah.
You guys obviously you guys came out with the most votes. So how about just talk us through that whole voting process and just getting the opportunity open for these big names.
Yeah, it was actually, we did a tour. You know, originally Dead Levy had us on a tour that was, you know, Calgary, Lethbridge, Regina, and Winnipeg. And when they broke up, we kind of just took over the tour. We're like, we could not go, or we could just go and know that this is not going to be well promoted by us. It's not going to be well attended, but it's going to be fun. Let's go.
Mhm.
So we did it. We went on the road. We hit Calgary, and you played to 10, 15 people, had a blast, you know. And we actually had like, we brought like, I don't know, 8, 10 people there, which we didn't expect. Like, just I had friends visiting there, or lived near there. So that was sweet. And cool bands we met, cool venue at Vern's there. I went over to Lethbridge at the Slice, again, cool venue. Derek there, who runs the place, is amazing. Again, couple awesome bands. And there was like 20, 30 people there. But there was like 15 people up front going absolutely insane for our set. And like a group of people that did not stop dancing from the first band to the last band, you know, like there was just some serious music lovers. And then when we got home, it was actually visit lethbridge.com arena, which is the Lethbridge, like, I guess, arena.
Mhm.
Reached out and were like, hey, we're looking for local bands to enter in this competition in Lethbridge. And we're like, well, we're from Winnipeg. And they're like, that's okay. I think what they meant to say was looking for independent bands or something.
Mhm.
Local maybe wasn't the right word, but we're like, yeah, we'll go for that. So we started rallying for votes, which we normally don't love doing because people are busy and there's, you know, get email or whatever, right? But people were awesome. People shared and voted, and we got in, and now we're going to Lethbridge to open for some huge bands. So
Mhm.
yeah,
And the tour you were talking about with Lethbridge and Regina, Calgary, Winnipeg, obviously Letelier, Dauphin, and you played Dauphin
yeah,
Country Fest.
that's right.
Yeah, the Summer of Chaos, I
That's
believe
right.
it was called.
Yeah.
Do you get any nerves opening for, or even just playing like a major event like Dauphin Country Fest?
Not really. Excitement.
Hmm.
I think the nerves are more about, is there going to be anyone there? You know, we were on stage when, like, I think it was Clint Black was on the main stage, you know, so there's just so much music going on. But again, there's people there listening. There's a whole like farmers market there now. So people were just listening, and a bunch of people came up to us after. We sold a bunch of merch,
Hmm.
met some great people. And that's why you play shows and tour, because you get a couple new fans every time, and that's the growth. That's the way it works. But no, I would play a show to a million people and be pumped about it, because me and the band's so tight. Like, we don't worry about our live performance, you know. Um, but there is, yeah, it's the worry about getting people there,
Hmm.
right? Promotion, selling tickets. You know, people are tight for cash. People are busy. There's so much going on. Like for our EP release show, there's tons of shit going on in the city.
Hmm.
So getting people to come to our show is tough, right? And like we sold a good amount of tickets, so we're pumped, and everyone that's coming's pumped, and that's all that matters, right?
Yep.
We'll play a show to 10 people like it's a million people, no matter what. We learned that a long time ago. So, yeah.
Awesome. Bankside Music Festival. You're no stranger to Bankside.
That's right.
You just played that 3 weeks ago or so, 2-3 weeks ago.
Sure.
Obviously, bands like Sleepless on there.
Yeah.
On the Fly, Royal Tusk, who you guys are familiar with. You played with them before.
Yeah.
So a festival like that, how does that all go? Who lines up the bands for it? Is that just strictly the festival itself? Do you guys promote each other to, do you maybe throw a bone to another band? Obviously, you guys are you are a higher up band, right? You're, I don't want to say more popular, but you're more popular. Do you ever throw a bone to another band and not only the festival, just your own gigs around the city? If you were to play the Tap House, do you have say in what bands are coming with you?
It all depends. Like festivals, for example, they book the bands. We have nothing to do with who's on the show. Yeah, that was our third time playing with Royal Tusk, but like we didn't get Royal Tusk on that. They didn't get us on it. You know what I mean? And like more popular is a weird thing for me because you see some bands, their Spotify streams are the highest I've ever seen, and they get a couple likes on Facebook, but their Instagram blows up or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Or sometimes their social media is nothing and their stages or their shows are filled with people. So I don't think we ever throw a band a bone. I think that we try to support bands as much as we can. I think there's just sometimes when we're promoting so much stuff, it's just hard to promote other people's stuff at the same time. So we like to tag bands and shout them out and say, come check this out. Like if we promote other bands, then, people are more interested in the scene. If there's only 2 bands that are active and good in the scene in Winnipeg, why would anyone go to local shows? Right. So you start supporting the scene and people start going to shows like, oh, there's always good bands playing at the Tap House, go to the Tap House on the weekend. There's going to be a good original band, if you want covers, go to the King's Head. There's all these places you could figure out what's going on and where and when.
For sure. And talking about the Winnipeg music scene, obviously you guys have been through. There's a lot of good bands coming to Winnipeg right now. There's a lot of people doing promotions to get these bands going. And a couple of things that have come up on the Boneyard here is the Live at the Roslyn that happened years ago. And it seemed there was kind of a changing of the guard when the Live at the Roslyn happened and you started putting Winnipeg more on the map. Obviously, there's been some great bands coming to Winnipeg, the Watchmen, Jet Set Satellite, and go back to the Guess Who. Like you can go back a long ways with Winnipeg. But the Live at the Roslyn really pushed the small local bands, and it just seemed to do a little bit of a wonder for Winnipeg and got some bands on the map here. Riley Saunders was behind that. I know he's got stuff to do with the Tap House as well. What Winnipeg bands are you currently listening to right now?
Kingsway is a big one for me right now. I was actually just listening to them today while I was driving around. Love that band, love their style, love their music. Ash and the Arsonists are super active right now. Those guys are everywhere. Exomerita is coming out with some new stuff. Really excited about that. Off the top of my head, Sleepless is doing a bunch. I think they got Bo's in a new band called something 204, a Goon 204. My buddy Andrew's in that too. He just showed me last night. It sounds sick. So
yeah,
there's tons of good music out there. The Haleys are exploding right now.
Haleys are playing the Block Party as well.
That's right. Yeah,
they're playing next Saturday, I believe.
Yeah. They're playing the Friday, August 23rd, with Arkells, July Talk.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it's just it's such a great scene in the city right now, and then another thing coming up is the Loud Awards. I know you and me have talked about the Loud Awards before. big promotions for bands. You know, the band that was on earlier had some nominations, and that's kind of where it ended. But just to get nominated was just such a big event for them, right?
Yeah.
So we got the Loud Awards coming up. You got an award for Ambassador of the Year, which I find is just such a great thing because you're kind of giving back to the fans. You know, the people that are at these shows. I had Dag on last week. Dag was talking about a guy who's at every show he goes to and more. Just to give back to the fans like that is just something. And you know, you talk to some of these fans and even Jen Minoz, who was on last week, talking about it. And you know, there's just so much support from the people going to these shows. They're not going to the big shows at the MTS Center.
Yeah.
They're maybe not going to the Burt, you know, but they're going to all these local shows and supporting.
Yeah.
And it's just such a great thing to see in the city.
Well, yeah, and like you know, I believe you got to have the big shows too. Like I love that big bands come through Winnipeg. So I love what the Burt Block Party's doing. I love that the Canada Life has shows. Just there's just so much stuff with the True North. Like drinks are just expensive, and food's expensive, and tickets are expensive, and like I legit like, you know, we with the show, like there's been a few people who are like, hey, I don't have $20 right now. And I'm like, no problem. Like, do you want a ticket? Like, they're like, yeah, you know, because it's tight, you know. So how are you supposed to go spend, what is it, $15 on a beer at these events, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying I know how to fix that. I'm just saying that's what exists, you know? But yeah, the Park Theater, like, you know, you can get a PBR for $5.50. I'm pretty sure, you know, tickets are $20. Like, it's just a lot easier, and you're watching local bands, you're supporting local venues. It's great.
Absolutely. Let's kind of just sorry to go back. Let's just go back to the EP again.
Yeah.
4 songs released, 2 aren't released. One you said is Gasoline.
So we have out is Hello Chaos, Get Out of Here, and Follow Me. There's 3 other songs. It's Rosita, Gasoline, Daydream, and Monster. That's the 6 songs. And actually, I don't know if I've ever said that on air. So first time revealing the track listing.
There we have it.
There you go. Yeah. And so we're going to be doing a ton of promo post-release. I think that's where we failed in the past, and many do, is you put the music out there and that's it. Right. So then we started spending more time promoting the singles and promoting the album and doing all this stuff to get people to listen to it. And then once it's out, as musicians, we're on to the next stuff. Right. So yeah, we're going to have a bunch of music videos coming out, lyric videos. We have a docu-series coming out. We got Blue Moon Media. Kevin Moretz did a wicked job documenting our whole recording process. So we're going to be, you know, putting out some teasers on that, and then some full episodes on YouTube.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Any new merch coming out?
Yeah, we got new hoodies for the show, which we also haven't announced yet. So there you go, another debut for you. Yeah, with these sweet hoodies. I should have brought one, but it was by Stoke Screen Printing. Did it some hoodies for us, and they'll be at the show, and it'll be the first time you can buy them. So
awesome.
And hopefully CDs.
Okay.
99% sure we're going to have them in time. Okay. We'll see.
All right. Well, you got 6 days. So
yeah. They were ordered a while ago, but yeah, we also plan on doing vinyl and possibly cassettes in the future. We're just going to keep the cool merch coming. Like, it's just why stop once it's out? Keep going and keep promoting it.
Absolutely. Isn't it a strange thing with cassettes? I've been noticing any new releases from bands, if you go on a lot of bands' websites, there's now cassette form.
Yeah. And
it just blows my mind who's still driving around with cassette players, or if they're just installing them now. So
yeah, we were talking with this again yesterday. I was at my buddy Ryan's wedding, and you know, a ton of conversation was just happening about just vinyl and CDs and cassette, and you know, who even has these players. And honestly, I bought so much vinyl. Like I had probably about 5 or 10 vinyls in my possession before I had a player. Right. I think it's just really nice when you go to see a band. It's like, I want this. I want to own some physical piece of that. Right. Because it's all streaming now. Right. It's all monthly subscriptions.
Yeah.
So it's so sweet to walk away with something, you know, especially if you sign it or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Vinyl's so cool. And you know what they're doing? It's not just a black record anymore, right?
Yeah.
I picked up one last week in Minnesota, and it's just got the craziest design on it. But you're right, it is cool to have a physical piece of it. And just kind of speaking on that, what's your obviously your music is on Spotify. Do you have any stances with online? How do you feel about online streaming?
I think it's great. I think there's some problems. I think people need to get paid more.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at, I think small independent bands need to get paid more.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the problem. I think when you look at actual streaming numbers for big bands and you calculate all of their platforms, it's quite a good amount of money. It's not nothing. But a lot of that goes to the labels a lot of the time, right? And so there's some problems, but I think a lot of people would have never heard of us or been able to hear our music until streaming platforms. So, you know, we have a Linktree or landing page now where we have Apple Music, Tidal, Spotify, all of that on there. So it's just really easy for people to click on a link and select their DSP of choice. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's good. It's great. I don't stand with everyone who thinks we should shut it all down. I think you could still sell vinyl and cassettes and CD and merch and live shows and use that tool of streaming platforms to show people what you are, right?
I think it is needed. You're 100% right. Artists should be getting paid more to be on there, but I feel that the artists need it as well, though, right?
Yeah,
it's the way of the world. It's how you're getting out there. Obviously, you can find all Northern Royals stuff on there right now. Besides the 3 unreleased songs so far.
Yeah.
But they will be on there eventually.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at, if you don't mind, I'm just going to show these tickets.
Sure.
This is the next thing I want to talk about is just with the internet and everything. But if you see these tickets, you don't see this anymore. The physical ticket and looking that good too.
Yeah.
Who did the tickets for you?
So a lot to talk about here. We usually go with Cohort tickets. They closed down. Super unfortunate. Shout out to them for years of great cheap tickets for bands. But we got our buddy Matt. No, oh my God, I'm blanking. Red Leaf District on Instagram. Our buddy Matt did the drawing of the girl there. So he actually hand drew that, and then he drew it digitally. And then we had Adam at Pollution Lake Media do all the graphics, sort of put it all together. And then it was Galaxy Printing that printed it. So that's kind of, I was looking like, where do I go for tickets?
Mm-hmm.
And someone recommended Galaxy Printing. And they were great. They did a great job. So we love the physical ticket. We love handing it out. And, you know, just hearing people in the scene getting tired of fees. Like the online ticket for this show is $4.50 in fees. So you buy from us for $20, online for $24.50, and that $4.50 goes directly to the
processing.
No, the venue doesn't see it. We don't see it, you know? And then the door is $25. So just buy from the bands or, DM Omens or Northern Royals. We'll get you a ticket.
Absolutely. And like I said, you look at the tickets, you don't see those anymore. The price of admission is worth the ticket, to have the ticket on your wall at home like everyone used to do.
Yeah. I got a framed ticket holder at my house, actually. And I'm like, then just COVID, they went away. I was like, oh.
You remember those days where it's, having the actual physical tickets, and, you know, people had their like drawers full of these tickets, and you just don't see it anymore. And I recently was at a Blink-182 show in Minneapolis, and there was something about you have to show your ticket. And just, I thought after, like, you know, pulling out your phone and just the whole day and age of phones at shows, people are watching the entire show through a phone now. You know, the old days of the cigarette lighter, now it's like your light on the phone.
Yeah.
Everything's so connected through your phone right now.
Yeah.
And then, just, you know, with shows, people watching shows through the phone. Obviously, I saw Jack White years back, and he had a little like case that they put your phone in.
Yeah.
And I
yeah.
watched the guy sit beside me for 3/4 of Jack's set, just prying on this thing, trying to get in this phone case. And I said to him, "Why do you need your phone that bad?"
Yeah.
And he wanted to videotape the show. Like, do you ever videotape a show and go back and watch it after?
No,
No.
but here's my thoughts on that. Since phones have gotten so good and video and audio quality has gotten so good and social media has gotten so easy and important for bands, we appreciate every single phone out of the show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it.
Like when they're sharing a song and they send it to us and we could post it, it's beneficial. But there's a certain level of, there's a lot of, if you're just taking, shitty, bad videos and it's not useful to you or anyone else or whatever. But when I'm at a show and I see everyone's phones out videotaping it, I'm like, what are you doing? So I don't know. I'm the same way in both sides of that. I think that, in my opinion, you should, take a video of your favorite tune to remember that, post it, tag them, but watch the show.
Yeah.
Right. Then put your phone away and watch a show. If you want to catch a cool part of someone soloing, go ahead, but put it away then, you know? So I'm in the middle of it,
Yeah. No, I get it. You're on the stage and you're on the ground too, right?
That's right.
So you're seeing both sides of it. So yeah. No, I've watched too many times of people record an entire song, and I thought, how many times are they going to watch that? If they post it, like you said, if they post it and tag the band, that's great. That's great. It's great to have the memory there, but sometimes you just watch someone film an entire show, and I just think, when are you going to go back and watch this whole show?
Yeah, I know. And I go through old video footage and I see some big band. I took a bunch of videos and I'm just like, I'm delete.
Yeah.
I don't care to ever watch this. I remember being there, and that's when that physical ticket on the wall is cool, or that vinyl, or whatever it is. That's how you remember the show.
Yeah. You remember telling your friend who wasn't there about the show.
Yeah, back in '92.
Yeah, exactly.
I saw. Yeah.
So anyway, shows, everything going on. Talk about Northern Rails. What's next after this? Obviously, you said you're going to delay some of the promotional stuff till after.
That's right.
When do you start working on new material?
Already started. Already recorded a couple new tunes at Mosma. Recorded demos ourselves, working on tracks and lyrics, and we're actually doing new songs at the show that no one's ever heard before. So that's sweet. I think, maybe I'm wrong on that. There's some unreleased stuff we're playing at the show. I'll say that. Yeah.
Excellent.
And then, we got the docu-series coming out, and I think we're just been doing a lot more reels and stuff. Like, that's how I consume content. It's just like, oh, that was a cool little interview and it was only 30 seconds long. So then I go to that band, follow them, and I go to their YouTube and watch the full episode, or check out their music or whatever. Like, I love how easy it is for local bands, or I should say independent artists, to promote their stuff online now. Like, I love seeing this band I've never heard of on my sponsored ads on Instagram. I click on their page, they got 200 followers, and they're awesome. I'm like, sweet. Finally, we have that ability, because before it was labels spending millions, and that's the only way you were told which bands were out there, and that was it.
Yeah, you're right.
Or touring and going to local venues and stuff, right? But
exactly. Social media. You guys you're big on social media. Who does your social media?
Mostly me. Kendra does a lot too. Like, it kind of, I think the whole idea of using our phones to take small video clips started with her in Gibsons, BC, with Garth Richardson on her first album. She took a bunch of 10-second, 20-second videos, along with Joey Senft as well. She came out there as well and did a bunch of photos and videos. And then we had Adam at Pollution Lake Media do Get What You Give video. And we're like, that's so cool. It's so great. So ever since then, we've all just, like, mostly me and Kendra, just been taking, quick videos. And then you make reels and collages, if you will, and stuff like that. But yeah, social media, mostly me with the posting and stuff. And I get a ton of help from Pollution Lake Media, um, with graphics. Like whenever we do a show, the poster's done by him, the banner on the event page is done by him. There's so much annoying stuff when it comes to social media. Like, why is the Facebook event banner a different size than your cover image on your profile? I don't understand. But anyway, so I get him to do all that for me, and he just knows exactly what I want. And I just say, here's some ideas of what we're looking for. Here's information. And he produces something amazing for us. But yeah, it's social media is everything, but it's also not like I was stressed about it a long time. And, you know, I was told I had to post 6 times a day on TikTok if I wanted to have anyone looking at me. And then I just stressed about it, then never did anything. And now it's just like, you just post a rehearsal and people are like, hey, it was cool to be like at your rehearsal with you.
Mm-hmm.
Or you post some clips from Country Fest and people are like, hey, it looked like you had a great time at Country Fest. Looks like it was a lot of fun. And now that instead of saying, how was it? They're like, hey, it looks like you had fun, because they're seeing parts of it, you know?
Yeah.
Always better to be there in person and see a show live, of course, but you know, people can't be everywhere. And, you know, it's, yeah, I think social media is great if you use it as a tool.
Yeah, for sure. Right.
Yeah.
And you go as Daddy Royal on
that's right,
on Instagram, I think it is.
Yeah.
Awesome. Sorry, Country Fest. Did you guys stay up for the whole time?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, we were scattered, but yeah.
Have you been there before?
No.
First
First time. Yeah. Never really been into country. More and more into country. My wife's into country, so it got me onto it. But yeah, they did a whole rock night. Like they had a bunch of rock artists there. The Hour Hand from Regina was there. They kick ass. Braden King was there. He's a country artist. That's awesome. And obviously the headliners, you know, but yeah, it was good. It was fun. It wasn't as toxic as people told me it was going to be. You know, I think it's different now. The Rush camping's gone. The same cost for upper and lower camping. So a lot of families.
Yeah.
There's a lot of families, kids, adults, like you know, grandparents. It was all over the place. There were still young kids getting nuts, but you know,
yeah, good for them to do like the rock nights though.
Yeah.
You know, it's a big event, and I know this year they kind of went back with some of the older bands that were there years back. You know, Alabama, Clint Black. You were saying you played the same time he did, so
yeah.
Hopefully, you drew some of the crowd over for that one. So
yeah. Well, we were talking to people that were like, "Thank you so much for rocking out with us here," and they're like, "Oh yeah. Just didn't really want to go to the big crowd and the big stage and find my way through there, so I was just walking around, heard you guys, it was awesome, and like." That's the best. Yeah. That's why you just keep playing shows.
Absolutely. Is there anything else you got for the Northern Royal fans out there? Or even the local music fans out there?
Yeah, I mean, again, we're Northern Royals. You can go to northernroyals.com. Our show is August 24th. And yeah, DM us for tickets. I think we covered pretty well everything. You had some good questions.
Yeah, we did pretty good. Also, September 6th.
What's that?
If you want to do the drive to Lethbridge.
Oh, yeah.
September 6th.
Yeah.
I contemplated it already.
You know what? A few people have told us they're coming, and I was like, yeah, really? And they're like, oh, yeah. Yeah, a few of our band's friends are driving out. I got some family out that way that are coming, and yeah, it's pretty sweet. It's gonna be fun. And I think we're doing a show at the Slice in Lethbridge on the Saturday as well.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I think that's happening.
Good move. Yeah, because you're playing Friday night with other bands.
That's right.
Yes.
And then the Saturday in Lethbridge is country night. So I think the rock fans might be looking for some rock and roll. So
perfect.
Yeah.
Well, you know where to find it then.
That's right.
All right. Well, that's been the episode with Evan from the Northern Royals. This one's been in the books for a little bit. I've been bugging him for quite some time.
Yeah.
Trevor from Omens bugged him for me too. So
me and Joel have been buddies for a long time, so I knew about this and was excited about it.
He played an event when they were the Autopilots, an event that we will remain nameless. Actually, we won't talk about that event.
You have to tell me what it is.
I'll tell you after. All right. Okay. Thank you very much, Evan.
Thank you.
Get out there, listen to the Northern Royals. go watch this show, get the ticket, get a physical ticket, put it on your wall, tell everyone about the show, videotape the show.
That's right.
He's okay with it.
Yeah.
All right.
No bags for fun.